It's really hard to believe that it's been 1 year and 2 nights since this amazing night where I was filled with such hope and such optimism listening to the Vice President, Kamala Harris, and feeling this sense of something is changing for the better. Because here we are a year later and things haven't gotten any better. They've gotten worse. They've gotten infinitely worse. And it doesn't matter where you look, whether it's to the media, whether it's to education, whether it's to basic human rights, everything is crashing down around us. But here's the thing, we don't have to let it crash. We don't have to let it fall just for the sake of saying, I told you so. We can do something about it. We don't have to give up that hope. We don't have to give up that optimism. We can find it places. We can find that decency, that goodness in people's hearts. We can find it out there, but we've got to work towards it. We've got to work towards it together. And I'm going to tell you exactly how we're going to do that. But first, I have some things I want to get off my chest.
And on this journey, one more love unraveled. I finally learned to love me for me.
So if you'll indulge me for just a few moments here, I need to crash out just a little bit. And as I get into this, yeah, I recognize that these aren't necessarily aromantic or asexual issues. But here's the thing, if we're going to be advocates for asexual and aromantic folks, then we have to be that for every aromantic and asexual folks out there. This past week has been another absolutely disgusting week in the United States. I, for one, am still furious over seeing what has happened to the East Wing of the White House. This coming off of what happened to the Rose Garden at the White House. Places that this administration has no right to demolish, although they'll be upset over a tennis court that wasn't being used that Barack Obama painted lines on to make a basketball court. That can easily be painted over. Demolishing an entire wing, uprooting and paving over the Rose Garden that was put there by Jackie Kennedy. Those things can't be just undone. Meanwhile, the government is still shut down. We just passed November 1st, which means that now SNAP benefits have been defunded, which they can be funded. We have reserves for it. The Trump administration said no. They're not doing it. And in fact, I just learned that the administration is actually sending emails to grocery chains across the country, threatening that if they are offering discounts to folks who are SNAP eligible, that they will, in fact, lose eligibility to be part of the SNAP and EBT program themselves as a grocery chain. Folks just trying to help because the Trump administration isn't helping these people. You know it's bad when businesses are trying to help people and the party of business is saying no. The party of small government is saying no. Universally, unilaterally, nationwide. But yeah, they're the party of small government. Okay. And to make things even more disgusting, Trump just held a Roaring 20s Gatsby-themed party at Mar-a-Lago, while 42 million Americans lost their benefits. While folks are seeing their premiums for their health insurance skyrocket from $300 to $1,100 come January. And of course, there's even rumors that are being investigated right now that he spent $3.4 million of taxpayer money on this party. That has got to be the biggest let them eat cake moment in US history. Like, he's literally trying to recreate Marie Antoinette. Imagine that, the probably most illiterate president of all time, holding a Great Gatsby-inspired party. I highly doubt he's ever read a copy of The Great Gatsby by F. Scott Fitzgerald. He's probably never even listened to an audiobook. For those who say that audiobooks aren't literature, they are. The themes are still there, but it wouldn't matter for him. He wouldn't understand it. And the press isn't exactly helping. I mean, look at CBS News. They just edited the heck out of an interview with him when they just got sued by him for doing that with Kamala Harris. And then they just did it with him. So truth in journalism isn't quite what it used to be. The network of Walter Cronkite, CBS. So if we can't rely on the media, where can we turn to? Social media? Let's look at social media this week. TikTok, which Trump initially started the whole we need to ban TikTok thing back in his first presidency, which he only did so that he could turn around and play the hero now. Now, if you're in the US and you try to use the trans flag, your comment turns into this. And yeah, that's not just rumor. I actually tried it. This is a screenshot of me doing that. Now let's take a look at what's here. Instead of the trans flag, we have the transgender symbol, and it's accompanied with a white flag. The white flag actually coming first. So let's talk about why taking away the transgender flag is a problem and what message that sends. The flag represents community, it represents belonging, and it represents a safe space. Taking that away reduces to individuality. Now, believe me, trans folks are strong, even on their own. But they don't need to be on their own. And to take away their community is sick. And we just had Halloween. And just as I've been saying for a very long time now, hateful people have felt emboldened by this administration to be more hateful. I'm not posting any of these pictures here because I find them absolutely reprehensible and disgusting. But if you are okay to do so for yourself, take a stroll through Threads, for instance, because that's where I saw most of it. There's so many so-called influencers who dressed up in blackface over the past weekend for Halloween. I even saw one dressed as that mustache man. It's reprehensible. It's disgusting. And they're proud of it. They're proud of their hate. Even right here on this channel, when I did my live stream for Ace Week, those of you that were here for that, we had to deal with some hate as well. Yeah, we do talk about how a lot of asexual or aromantic folks still want some form of a relationship, or they have a queer platonic relationship. Some actually do get married and have kids. But there's a significant amount of folks who do still remain single, who, like myself, I'm probably going to remain single because that's the life that I'm comfortable with. So I don't have the dual income situation going on for me. And even those that are in relationships, who are married or have kids, that doesn't mean that that won't affect them. Especially right now when everyone's hurting unless you're part of the 1%. The issue of blackface certainly impacts aspec folks. There's a lot of aspec folks who are black. There's a lot of racism within the aspec community. We talked about this just in my last video. If we're not standing up against that, then we're part of the problem too. There's a lot of intersectionality between aspec folks and transgender folks. If we're not standing up for our transgender siblings, then we're not part of the solution either. Activism isn't about convenience for ourselves. It's about doing what's right for everyone. And the folks who aren't aspec, but still have these things built against them, we need to advocate for them too. But yes, these are aspec issues, whether you want to recognize them that way or not. They are. And I'm going to speak on them. And if these do affect you, please know I've got your back. And I'm not going anywhere. It feels like it's everywhere. It feels like it's overwhelming, like it's inescapable. But we can have that hope back again. And here's how. The first thing, vote. November 4th is election day here in the US. Check your local polling place. Find out where you can go. Look online, find your location, and look what's on your ballot and research it. And when I say research, I don't mean just go to social media and listen to what other people have to say. Actually read it. Think critically, because people not doing so is a big part of how we wound up in this in the first place. People weren't thinking critically. They weren't recognizing what we were really up against. And I regret not speaking more directly last year when I feel that I should have, because I understand what that cult believes. I don't agree with it whatsoever, but I know, because I grew up in a town that is absolutely pure red, surrounded by people who are absolutely pure red hat. I know how they think. They didn't care about Gaza. They didn't care about human rights being trampled all over the world. That's why you barely saw him have to talk about it. He didn't even have a plan for most things. He had concepts of a plan, but he had help. He had help from people who were too naive to understand what they were actually up against, to go and tell people not to vote or to vote for the third party. And now here we are. So no, don't just go to social media and listen to what other people have to say there. Do your research. Actually read from trusted sources, which I know is becoming harder and harder to know what is a trusted source. But critically think about it. Please. There is still kindness out there. There is still hope. There is still optimism. And there's still decency. There's still respect. Believe it in here, and you'll see it out there. If you close yourself off to it, you won't be able to see it when you actually do encounter it, but it's there. Whether it's the Taco Bell employee who, when I didn't even have enough cash to cover my meal, it was $7 and I only had like $6. He gave it to me anyway. And then he told me to keep the $6. And he threw in a drink. Because I was in the middle of door dashing. Because I had no money. Because I was struggling recovering from the car accident I had over the summer and all the payments that I had to deal with from that. I think about that guy. He didn't have to do that. He didn't have to give me a meal and throw in a drink at the same time, because he saw that I was tired and he said, "You look like you could also use a soda. A little bit of caffeine." Yeah, there's still decency out there. There's still people who want to help. Don't close off that part of you. Believe in it. We'll get through it. We'll do it together. But we can't just sit around and not do anything. Make your voice heard. Lift other people's voices. And vote. Inform. Learn. And don't ever lose your heart. It's what separates us from them. Tell me something good that happened in the last week for you. Put it in the comments and let's show that there is still decency out there, that there's still love and respect and that there's still hope. Put it in the comments so other people can see it. And please don't forget to vote. I know a lot of you are probably going to be seeing this after the fact, but remember that there's elections happening pretty consistently. Keep an eye out and vote in every local election too. It starts from the ground up. And please don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, share it out, and subscribe for more content, because I do have other videos that I want to talk about, including the way that I deal with some of the things that I'm told about my aspec identity. I'm going to be sharing a strategy that I use in my next video, that if you read the interview that I did with AStat Advice, you already know the strategy, but I'm going to elaborate on it and where it really came from and how I use it in my next video. So make sure that you subscribe for that. And if you want to help support me and Fluently Aspec and everything that I'm doing here, please check out my merch site. I've got a lot of really cool merch that I designed personally myself. There's no AI assistance whatsoever. It's all me, hand drawn on my sketchbook app. And I'm really proud of those designs. So please go check those out. And you can also check out a copy of my book, Limitless: Poetry of an Aromantic and Asexual Journey. It's a self-published book that I published earlier this year, back in February. Again, really proud of it. It's really hard to talk about these things sometimes, but I really feel that it was necessary, and I really hope that it's helping people. So please go check that book out. And I know I say this in every single video, but I also mean it every single time. Be good to each other and to yourselves. I'll see you in the next one.